Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram.
YouTube video is there, no problem, that is running.
But it is stopped. I don't know why it is still showing that.
In one of the tab, it was seen, no problem. Audio was showing.
No, that I have closed.
You closed it? Okay.
Yes.
Can you share again? We will try.
My Zoom is giving some problem.
Okay. Yeah, now it's fine.
Now it's fine. Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, so we are in chapter number 7, shlok number 23. Antavatav phalam tesam yad bhavanti alpamedhasam devana devai yaggoyanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. Repeat the translation again. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship demigods go to the planet of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. So in this shloka, we have to try to understand few things. Why people with small intelligence worship demigods? So as mentioned in this purport, because of the fruits, right? They want to achieve something. It may be wealth or some kind of material benefit. But we have to understand these fruits, whatever we are desiring, they are temporary. So through this shloka, we are actually trying to distinguish also between the god and demigods. And then thinking demigod as God. So if you see, one of the Nam Aparad is thinking demigod as God. And what actually happen if we worship demigods? What ultimately happens? And why actually we should worship God? So through this shloka, we will try to understand all of this. So in the purport, we can see that small intelligence, people who have less intelligence. So intelligence doesn't mean ki if somebody achieve higher degrees, PhDs or IITs, IIMs, we should not consider that as intelligence. Actual intelligence is understanding of God. So generally, people who have small intelligence or less intelligence, they worship demigod. And that is mainly because the main material, because of the material desire, right? Which is temporary. So less intelligence people, actually what happens, their intelligence is stolen by the material desire, they generally worship demigods, but actually it is Lord Krishna who actually sanctions these benedictions through demigods. So generally, do we think demigods have all the controlling power? Actually, all this power, suppose if somebody is worshipping for knowledge or wealth, he goes to demigods. But actually those power was given to demigod by Lord himself. So one thing we have to understand, that the result of all these things are perishable. That is what is mentioned here as antavat, means it is perishable. It is going to be finished at one time. It will be over. So one who is actually freed from all this material contamination surrenders to Supreme Lord and engage himself in devotional service. Only person who actually understand this philosophy, that all this material, whatever we are desiring, at one point of time, it is going to perish. Who understand this philosophy, such people actually go towards Lord and they surrender to Lord. The other thing is, we have to understand that the devotees who go to the Lord kingdom or Goloka will never come back to this material world, right? That we have learned so far. So we have to understand why we have to go back there instead of having all this material enjoyment. So one main thing is, in Goloka or in Lord abode, there is no anxiety, isn't it? We have seen even Indra is having so much of insecurity, isn't it? So all these demigods, Indra, Shiva, Ganesh, these are all post, correct, given to them. That is why there is so much of insecurity, because at one point of time, that also will go or taken away by the Lord. So that is what here it is said, that one who desires for wealth will go to demigod or the higher planets, isn't it? So what will happen after that? Even, he go to higher planet to enjoy all this. At one point of time, again, he has to do bhakti. He has to come back and do bhakti. We have seen this in the example of Dhruv, correct? So what happened? Dhruv desired for a very large or big kingdom. He desired for that kingdom. He was refused to sit on his father's lap. He was refused. And he then decided he wanted a bigger kingdom than his grandfather. And later what happened? He actually ruled 36,000 years before going to Dhruvlok. So actually, if you see, the process is already defined by Lord. The moment a person go to Lord for worship, from that day onward, Lord actually decide. What he decide? He decide that person, he will take him back to Godhead. So now this process may take some or more time, depending upon how the devotee is, what is the purity of that devotee. Pure devotee may take shortest time, isn't it? We have seen in previous example, suppose if you have to go to Delhi, you have to either catch a train, bus or air. But if we go by air, we are going to reach in the shortest time. So the point here is, whoever actually worship Lord, at one point of time, he will going to get pure. It may be sooner or later, and then he will go back to Godhead. So we all must be feeling actually good after hearing this, isn't it? So this is not something I am telling, but Lord is actually written this already. He already told this. The moment you actually surrender to God or pray God, your process actually starts. Now it depending on us, what is the intensity of our worshipness. And if you see in this slide also, right, all demigods are there, Devi Devtas, but the actual benediction bestowed by demigod is sanctioned by Lord Krishna himself. So what is the point actually worshipping demigods? People, because of fulfilling their desires, they actually go to demigods. But ultimately, they have to again come back and do bhakti only. So why we have to actually take the longest path? Why we have to take the bus or train? Why not we go by air and reach fast? So for some person, it may take one birth, and for some person, it take 10 births also. But actually, it doesn't matter. How long it takes, it doesn't matter. As long as we are assured that we are going to go back to Godhead. So if we think, this suffering is something I can, take in this planet, then our progress will be definitely little in a lazy manner. So if someone is not understanding the philosophy also, let's say Bhagavatam or scripture, it doesn't matter actually. We can at least do chanting. We can do, Lord Seva or devotee Seva. At least this we can do, right? A illiterate person, he cannot read. That doesn't mean he cannot go back to Godhead. Only thing is, if we chant and do seva, we can go back. And people also think that if I go to Swargaloka by worshipping demigods, we'll never come back. But that is not correct. That is what we are seeing here. Even Devi Devtas, they have to come back, do bhakti, and then only they can go back to Godhead. So the main thing is, without discipline and the process, one cannot achieve this. Even Lord has defined the process. We know that this bhakti process is defined by Lord, but even Lord has to follow that. Even whenever Lord deviate, he get the punishment. But at the same time, we should not disrespect demigods. Because now we know that we have to worship only Lord. Ultimately, that is the final goal. But that doesn't mean we should disrespect demigods. So here, one more slide, the conclusion we actually get from here. Lord Krishna give us whatever is good for us. Many people, leave bhakti because of that, thinking, oh, nothing is working out, I'm not getting the result. What is the point actually? What is the point in, waking up so early in the morning, doing chanting, attending Mangal Aarti? Rest of the people are enjoying, getting up late and all those things. Why should I, follow this? So if you see in the example here, which is shown in this slide, so here a father and a child is having some conversation, and the child is asking for ice cream, and father is saying, you are having, asthma. So it is not good for you. But once he go out and somebody says, I will give you 3 ice cream, you eat it. And later point of time, we see he end up going into a hospital. And then he is realizing his father was telling the truth. He could have listened to his father. So here our father is Lord, right? So if he doesn't listen to our father, if we don't listen to Lord, who is our supreme father, then we will end up, we will get more sufferings, and later then we will come back to this path. So everybody has to come to bhakti path sooner or later. There is no escape route. So another thing we have to understand from here, why everyone cannot understand Krishna. Generally this question comes, why everybody cannot understand Krishna. Even in Bhagavad Gita, which is the knowledge spoken by Lord, is open book for whole world, right? But not everyone can understand this. Why? Because of the simple reason that we are covered by Yog Maya. Because of the Yog Maya, we cannot see we are always in illusion. Yog Maya is nothing but illusion. And since it is one of the energy of Lord, we cannot fight against the Yog Maya. Isn't it? We cannot fight with Yog Maya. If you see, when Lord was present in this world, few thousand years back, few people like Pandavas, Bhishmas, Vidura, they only were able to see him. But other lakhs, they could not able to understand him. Ye yada yam prapyante. So depending upon the level of surrender to the Lord, the curtain to that extent will be open. The amount of purity we are showing in surrendering to Lord. Based on that, actually, we will be able to understand and know Lord. So why to think so much? Why we have to, doubt or give some reason for not doing bhakti? At least we can chant and do seva. You can see from this material example itself, if you see the people like Bill Gates or Narayan Murthy, they earn so much of wealth, isn't it? But try to observe that whether they are satisfied at the end. No, they did not satisfied, and now they are coming back to big charities. They are doing so much of charity, right? So that simply means what? The actual objective of a soul is to serve. And until you serve, whether you serve Lord or you serve devotee, you will not get satisfaction. Because the sole real position is to serve. That is why, you may think, my goal is to create wealth like Bill Gates or Narayan Murthy. But at the end, you will not get satisfied. Because the actual, satisfaction for the soul is to serve. So that is what we have to understand from this shloka, that if we actually worship demigods, the fruits will be limited and temporary. And at the max, we'll go to the higher planets of demigods. But again, we have to come back, because Lord is telling here, ki my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Only when we become devotees, we'll be reach to the supreme planet. So that is about today's shloka. If there is any question, I'll try to answer. So thank you, devotees, for joining today. So please join tomorrow again. Granth Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Dandavad Pranam, Mataji.
Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the wonderful class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.